Hello, grammar and writing students, and we are coming down the pike, nearing the end of our book. Please note that I have recorded this for both 7th grade grammar and writing and 8th grade grammar and writing. I am using the 7th grade book, so for 8th graders, you will have to, you can look at the rules, you can look at the tests that we're going to use to distinguish between adjectives and adverbs, but then you'll have to take a look at your own book for examples. So let's get started, and we are going to take a look at the gray box. And one of the things that there's often a difficult time, students have a difficult time distinguishing what the word is modifying, or the phrase, or the clause. Is it modifying an adjective, or is it modifying an adverb? And sometimes the same word can actually be an adjective or an adverb, and so then you really have to look to determine. A lot of ly words are adverbs, but there are some that are adjectives. So there's all kinds of things that we have to think about. Another part that we have to look at is a few tests that we can run, and that's what this second piece is answering. We're going to do a couple of tests on the words and phrases to help us to distinguish between the adjective and adverb, phrases and clauses. So the biggest thing to remember is an adjective is going to hang out with nouns, and an adverb is going to hang out with adjectives, adverbs, and verbs. So that is the biggest thing to remember. All right, let's take a look at this. This is, you're going to find this on page 401. If you're in 7th grade, it's on page 401 of the Rod and Staff. And they have a little chart here that shows the word gentle itself is an adjective: a gentle mother, a gentle baby, a heavy coat, a heavy blanket, the perfect dessert, the perfect house. But as soon as you add the ly to them, it becomes an adverb. He gently spoke. Well, how did he spoke gently? He heavily trotted over the soil. How did he trot heavily? He perfectly finished his paper. How did he finish it? Perfectly. So a lot of times we take a word that used to be an adjective, like we have here, and we add ly, and now we suddenly get ly adverbs. So you need to remember that a word can change forms and become something else. All right, but consider the following, because we have some ly words that are adjectives. Friendly, a lot of times we look at lys and think, oh, they're adverbs, but they're not. This is describing a girl. Fatherly concern, it's describing, this is an abstract noun, but it is a noun. A lonely path. So these are lys that are describing nouns. Same with these: godly remnant, pearly gates, daily bread. So you cannot always say that an ly is an adverb. Probably a lot of the times, but not always. Then there are those troublesome words that can be either an adjective or an adverb, and you need to ask questions to figure out what they are. Sorry about my little wonky picture. It looks like I have something on a curve here, but I think we can read what this says. Leo was early. Now in this case we have a linking verb. We have Leo, and early is actually describing him. You could say early Leo. The floors are clean. And we have a linking verb, clean floors. The past days have been busy, busy days. Past is describing days, as is busy. So all of those are adjectives, but we can make them adverbs too. He came to school early. When? It's answering the when question. The furniture is dusted clean. How is the furniture dusted? Clean. The days flew past swiftly. And flew past it's a timing question. How? We could answer it as how. So it shows that you can't always put a word into a specific category as an adjective or an adverb, because sometimes they can be both and you need to test them and ask questions about them. So if you look down at the bottom of page 402, if you're in the 7th grade text, you will see a couple of tests. So test 1 is to answer what part of speech does the word modify. An adjective modifies a noun or pronoun, and an adverb modifies a verb, adjective, adverb, or a verbal. It can also modify verbal. That's something new, probably for both 7th and 8th graders. But then think about what question does it answer. Adjectives answer which, whose, how many, and what kind of. So if you think about numbers, colors, think about those kinds of questions. They're answering adjective questions. Adverbs are answering how, when, where, why, how long, how much, to what degree, in spite of what, and under what conditions. So lots more questions, but be sure and answer those questions. Okay, so we're going to do a little test here, and there's one on page 402 into 403, but I'm doing the one on page 403. We're looking at the sentence, the bears have often been coming quite close to the house. So we're looking at the underlined words, and the first question, what part of speech does the word modify? Often modifies the verb have been coming. When have they been coming? Often. So that's an adverb. Quite modifies the adverb close. It's telling us kind of to what degree. We could say the bears have been coming close to the house, but when I add quite close, that's a whole different thing. That means they're really, really close. That's also an adverb. Close modifies the verb have been coming. Where have they been coming? To the house. So it's answering a where question. So you can, down here, what question does it answer? I've already answered those for you. When, to what degree, and where. But those are the kinds of questions that you will have to answer to make a determination about whether this is an adjective or an adverb. Make sure you remember who, which clauses, and I included one of those. Who, whom, whose, who, which clauses are going to be adjective. The man whose younger son had left home. So this is a who, which clause describing man. Then here, after the prodigal son returned, the elder son was bitter and jealous. So after the son returned modifies the verb by telling us when. When did the boy get jealous? What was after? And don't forget, you've got this word, the subordinating conjunction that is introducing that clause. So hopefully this isn't that difficult. You just remember your basic adverb and adjective functions. Ask yourself those questions and try some of the class practice and then move to your homework. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them when we are in class. Thank you. Hope you guys have a good day.